But last night I was sitting in bed and I was scrolling and I was scrolling and I was bored. I couldn't sleep, and I come across Technicals on Twitter. Now you guys know Technicals. He's basically Batman to the Smash scene or the Guilty Gear scene at this point. Whenever they breathe wrong, Technicals is there to basically stomp on them. And I'm looking at his post and I'm reading this post. I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is going on here? And I'll read to you what he said. Bear in mind, it's 4 in the morning. I'm sitting there a bit drowsy. My eyes opened up wide when I read this. He posted saying, a 12-year-old, that's 2 Smash player allegations in a day. You guys are never beating that reputation. Honestly, effing disgusting to hear of this so often. Even in the cases where it's not true, what kind of community do you have to be where the story of the month is always child abuse? So tired of it. I'm thinking, 12-year-old, 2 Smash players in one day. What the hell have they done this time? So I decided to have a little bit more of a read to see exactly what was going on. I'm not a part of the Smash scene, although I did go to tournaments a long time ago before I knew what kind of people populate the Smash scene. And I just want to stress before I read this, if you're offended by this and you're part of the Smash scene, then you're probably part of the problem. I predominantly operate in Tekken now, sometimes Soul Calibur or Mortal Kombat every now and then. And if I heard anything like this coming from the scene over and over again, I wouldn't feel personal offense if somebody was calling it out. I'd say there's a problem. And there is a huge problem with the Smash scene, but I'll give you my thoughts at the end of the video. Let's take a look at what is being said in this Google document. So it comes from an individual called Terrian. I believe he's probably a Smash player as well. I don't know who this individual is. I don't know really who any of these new age Smash players are. And he says, the main issue, as a lot of you know, I had lived with Dane Hansen, aka Rectangles. Now I believe Rectangles is a tournament organizer. I've heard of his name before, for about 2.5 years. As of about a month ago, Rectangles and I have split apart and I now live with my girlfriend. So I now feel comfortable enough to speak about my experiences with Rectangle and the things I have witnessed while living alongside him for 2.5 years. This will act as a document to ask for a ban on Chicago TO Rectangles. So please read this document in its entirety. Now, before I read the document, I just want to let you know that if these sort of things make you sick, you should probably turn this video off. It's not for you. This video is basically to continue to shed light on the problems with this scene. And I've been very outspoken against this scene for protecting basically diddlers. And it would be protection because it is so widespread in this scene that I no longer believe that people on the inside don't know what's going on with their friends and their peers and the people around them. When I used to play Smash and I would go to tournaments, I came to realize that a lot of these people actually hang around together. It's a closely knit, tight circle. So I don't really believe that people are unaware of what's going on. It's going on too often in the Smash scene. Way too often. Back when I'd lived in Kenosha with Rectangles, at this point in time he was 22 or 23 years old in 2021. Something extremely disturbing and disgusting took place. I really wish I had said something sooner, but I had no other place to go as my mum was moving to Texas and I was not ready to leave Wisconsin just yet, as I was 20 at the time and had recently moved in with him. These things being said, for the stability of my own life and safety, I thought I couldn't speak. On the night in question, Rectangles picked me up from my 12-hour Amazon FC shift at around 6 AM as he usually did, but this time he had a girl with him in the front seat. That being said, with the wear and mental drain of a 12-hour shift, I had no will to pry into their business as one. I could barely keep my eyes open, and 2, at the time, couldn't naturally discern any sort of issues. When we got home, I went ahead and fell asleep in the living room because of the drain from my long shift. Obviously, I'm not there to see what's going on. But if my friend's picking me up, this is just me. I don't know about you guys. You let me know if I'm just bullshitting here. But when my friends pick me up and I've got a new person in the car, there's a stranger in the car, I'll probably say hello to them and say, oh, hey, nice to meet you. I'm really sorry. I'm tired. I'm going to catch some sleep on this drive home. You wouldn't get in the car and say nothing, right? I mean, unless you're socially awkward. I don't really understand that. But if there was a new person in the car, I'd say, hey, nice to meet you. My name's Mike. And then I'll do my business. I'll go to sleep or whatever. I don't mean to nitpick, but that doesn't seem entirely believable. The next day rolls around and I'm watching YouTube on the couch and Rectangles finally exits his room. He walks up to me in only his boxers and states, dude, I haven't had this much sex in so long. I kind of just nervously laughed it off, but I thought it was really weird that he told me that, so I called my friend Soul to tell him what Rectangles just told me. We sat on the phone for a while just bullshitting and I heard a loud knock on my front door. I get confused and look through the peephole and there are about 10 Kenosha Police Department officers at the door. I knock on Dane's door and ask him if he knows what's going on, and the girl just goes, "Oh shit, I think my parents called the cops." And he starts rushing to put her clothes on. Mind you, she goes to put her clothes back on. I eventually open the front door and they come rushing in, grab the girl and drag her out of the apartment. After the stress of knowing the police were there and I finally had settled with that, I finally got a good look at this girl and my heart fucking sank to my stomach. She was an Asian girl who looked no older than years old. She was fighting with the police and screaming random curse words and slurs at them. I sat there in complete shock as they cuffed rectangles. This is... What is wrong with your scene? Why is it so widespread? Honest to God, I'm not even taking the piss here because this is disgusting. Like, this isn't even a joke. What is wrong with the Smash scene? What is wrong with you guys? And again, if you're taking personal offense to what I'm saying, if you've taken any personal offense to anything that maybe Technicals has said or anybody else, you are also part of the problem. You should be able to sit there and play the game and enjoy the game and also acknowledge that there are so many creeps in your scene. And something needs to be done about it. Something actually needs to be done. There's a lot of people that I disagree with on this app. Maybe I don't agree with a lot of my talking points. Maybe we don't get along. But I think we can all agree that this goes on way too often in this scene. And I think we can all agree that this is a step too far. We might have different opinions, but touching children, and I don't even want to repeat what I just read, doing that should be something where we can all be like, yeah, there's a serious problem here since this keeps on happening, since these allegations keep on coming up in this scene. I've seen problems in other fighting game scenes, in all of them, but never in my life have I seen this so concentrated to one scene. After they took him away, they started to question me. They asked me questions like, how long have you known him? And did you know this girl prior to her coming to this house? But the important question they asked me was, do you know how old this girl is? Wait, hold on. I just forgot to say. This guy, Terion, said that Rectangles walked out of the room and said, I've never had so much sex in my life. Now, I am assuming here that Rectangles is aware of the law, especially because of how he jumped up when the police were banging on the door and the little girl said, my parents are here to get me. He walked out of his room and so flagrantly announced to this guy, I've just had so much sex. Thank God I don't know people like this, but I can only imagine that if one of my friends knew they were breaking the law and they know how I feel about it, or like I guess I'd assume they know how I feel about it, they wouldn't walk out of the room and just tell me that openly, unless it was something that maybe I had seen before or that maybe we laughed and joked about and thought it was funny. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but this is a little bit odd. I can't imagine a scenario where someone's breaking the law and like, I guess what I just did. As if it was one of my friends that walked out of the room and said, I've just been having so much sex with a minor, they already know what I'll do. I don't even need to say it on YouTube. They already know what it would be. So this is a bit mad to me. Do you know how old this girl is? I told them no because I didn't even speak to this girl, let alone ask her what her age was. Her actual age was 12 years old. Here are the screenshots of his side of the story that he's telling to a person who wishes to stay anonymous. Okay, so now we get to Rectangle's messages. So in my last few months of living in Wisconsin, I was using a dating server on Discord to make friends because I was in a very desperate place after losing the woman I moved out there for. I came across, are we sure she's a woman? Was it a woman? I came across this girl who decided to come over to my apartment to hang out with me after we talked for a while. The dating server was age verified by ID and she looked like a normal Asian woman, so I assumed that it was just another date. Terion was in the house and he didn't seem to see anything off either, really. She stayed over for the night and she initiated hooking up with me the following morning. We wound up taking a nap afterwards and I was awakened by an insanely loud banging at the door. At my door were a bunch of police who came in and took her out of my home. Then they informed me of her true age after saying her parents had called her in missing. I went to the station, I answered all the questions they had, and afterwards went into my home and cried and threw up. Terion was there to comfort me through it all, and afterwards I found out that Sol had been in a voice chat on Terion's phone during the police coming to the house. I don't know what his version of the story was, but he was not there for it. I'm genuinely disturbed and disgusted that the whole thing even happened to begin with. I took myself into therapy for 3 years to deal with not only that, but many other things in my mental health. There is no universe where I would willingly hook up with someone underage. I legitimately don't understand why Sol would bring that up when they definitely didn't know the entire story. Even after it happened, they told me that they had experience with that server and reached out to the mods to report the incident and get that girl removed from that server. They were trying to help me recover from it, and they said they wouldn't ever use it against me. But here we are. These are some more messages now. Also, I just want to say that sounds like a whole bunch of cap to me. How can you not tell the Asian girl is underage? How that underage? That's underage. At that age, they look their age. At that age. That's mad to me. There must have been like some indication. I'm sorry for not coming clean the first time you asked me. This is something I never wanted to bring to my friends because it's disgusting and I'm ashamed of it. I was told of an age of which makes it very difficult to believe the story since it relies on me to believe that you couldn't tell she was underage. The fact that you omitted the age here too makes me more skeptical. This is why I wanted to call about it, because there's stuff I would miss in text. Sorry man, really I'm trying my best to give the benefit of the doubt here. Why? Why? You don't need to give the benefit of that to someone like this. Trust me, it's okay. And hear you out since you did me a huge solid housing for CB, but hearing about it all just makes me too uncomfortable to talk about it with you. I hope you can understand that. I do understand that. And I'm sorry that you and anyone else is informed had been made uncomfortable by the information. I made a massive mistake by trusting the Discord server that had age verified users according to what it was. And as a result, I had one of the most vile, disgusting, heart-wrenching things happen to me. I had no idea she was. I know it's hard to believe, but she did not look or act that way. It's my fault for not being more cautious back when that happened, and it definitely could have been avoided. But what happened happened. I am genuinely sick that it did, and I would never ever pursue someone who isn't of age. I learned of lessons from that experience and have carried them with me to this day to ensure something like that never ever happens again. I love you, and all my friends are made from Iceland. I really hope you guys can give me the benefit of the doubt, because that situation does not define me and it is not who I am. Unfortunately, even if there was a universe where you didn't know, which I don't think any of us believe, that situation does unfortunately define you, at least in the eyes of the public. It might not for you personally. You might have, I don't know, rose-tinted glasses or something, but in the eyes of the public, that will define you now. When people come to know that about you, if they don't know you prior, that will define you. That will be your reality. That will always be thrown in your face, as it should be, to be honest with you. I have grown from it, and it's something that will never ever happen to me again. I've grown. Should have let her grow up first. If you can share this with everyone who's involved, knows now, I would appreciate it, man. I'll share it in the voice chat. Thank you. I'm sorry you guys had to hear about this. We will put it to a vote and see. What do you... My lord, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, so we're back to the document now. Mind you, these screenshots are being shown to show that Rectangles is admitting to the fact that this indeed did happen. The incident in question, as shown from the above screenshot, clarifies the fact that the incident I'm referring to is not a matter of he said, she said. It is a distinct fact that this happened. For those who have read up until this point, you no longer need to question whether or not the scenario even occurred. It is a clear fact at this point. I kind of just sat there not knowing what to say. How could someone even F up this badly? How could someone see a 2-year-old as an adult woman? I couldn't even fathom it. I just sat there in shock, not knowing what my next course of action was going to be. So much had happened so fast that I forgot Sol was even on the phone and they heard everything that went down. I couldn't move back in with my mum and I didn't want to couch surf from house to house. I had no car, so I couldn't get to work reliably without him. I was convinced he was not coming back and I believed he deserved to not come back. Unfortunately, about an hour later, he came back home and just started crying his eyes out because of what he did. He immediately started acting like he was the victim, saying things like, "Why would someone lie about that?" And I feel so disgusted, bro. I felt that I was forced to comfort him because I didn't want to be homeless. I had no lifeline, so I decided that once I can fend for myself and get my own car, I'll tell the story. Unfortunately, he cannot be tried in the court of law because the child's parents did not want to press charges against him. The parents believed that their daughter was somehow capable of relatively thinking about the ramifications of this act, despite her being 20 years old. Parents of the year, well done to you two, which is another reason why I kept my mouth shut for so long. I wish he could be put into prison for this, but unfortunately there is nothing that can be done. This being said, I genuinely believe, but isn't it against the law? Okay, I don't know how things work in Kenosha or like state by state in America, so maybe someone can inform me on this. If the police find out you're doing this, do they need to press charges against you? Like, it's like if the police find out that you've broken a law, does someone need to press charges? That seems like a serious enough law that if he's admitted it and the police have arrested for him, in the moment, he's admitted it, that I don't feel like the parents really need to even do anything at this point. That being said, I genuinely believe it is best that we as a community refuse to allow people like this within our area. So I think, and hopefully others as well, that there should be a ban put into place, and that we as a community refuse to let things like this stand. Sincerely, Tyrion. So there was a person called Sol who was on the phone that they mentioned in those documents. And Sol has put this message out. So Sol has said, since I name dropped this I'll say, yes, I was there when this all happened, heard absolutely everything that happened on the other side. At the time, Tyrion didn't talk to me further about how he saw this. Dane made us promise to take this to the grave. So I was under the impression that Dane was being honest. I didn't see this person, nor did Tyrion describe it to me. One day, years later, when we were living together, I asked abruptly, as I usually do, yo, how the F can you not tell someone's... And he said he's been thinking about that for years. Considering Dane would... For years? How long have you been sitting on this, dude? What the... Am I getting the timelines mixed up here? Considering Dane would constantly use it against us when mentioning his trauma and using it as an excuse to treat me poorly, or constantly invite violent women to the house who cause problems. What the... I can't even say what I want to say on YouTube. It's just, what is wrong with this scene? Like, what am I even reading now? Inviting violent women to the house, he treated me poorly. Were you in a relationship with this dude? This goes way further on my end in terms of things that bother me. From Dane's cat abuse, oh, what the fuck? We're abusing cats now. To a rabid woman banging on our door telling everyone inside the house and the entire apartment building that Dane raped her on December 13th, 2022. My Jesus Christ, it really is like Arkham Asylum. It honestly feels like I'm reading this from someone that lives in Gotham. My experiences living with him were not good, but pale in comparison to the secret we were threatened to keep. I'm sorry, man. Like, this is a whole bunch of cap. I mean, this guy is an absolute monster, but you guys keeping this secret even after you have moved away. I don't understand that. I don't get it. Even in the moment, I'm telling you right now, if I knew someone did that, I would sort out I get all my faculties in place on the day. I would be out and they would be outed immediately. This is pure evil, especially with all the added things that you're saying now. Cat abuse, grape, violent women showing up at the house. Like, who are these people? What is wrong with this scene? Dane is truly one of the worst people that has ever been in my life. When I left, I told a few people I won't name about this since it bothered us so much. But since Tyrion still lived with him, we decided it was better to not say anything until both of us were away. Okay, so I guess this person was in the vicinity. It really doesn't matter if it took place years after or days after. This is just all manner of messed up. It is actually disgusting. Someone posted underneath Sol's Twitter and said, men are scum, thanks for sharing. And then Sol said, don't talk down on yourself like that since you're a he, him. It's a lot of men. Honestly, it's most of the reason I prefer they, them pronouns. I truly, from experience, hate being associated or seen as a man. It's not men, okay? There's a lot of normal men out there, okay? There's a lot of normal men. And then there's the smash scene. It's a problem with the scene. And I feel like we are well within our right to talk down on this scene. This has been going on for so long. None of us are perfect here. I'm far from perfect. There are things that you can point the finger at me. Maybe I'm too rude to people, or maybe I'm too sarcastic or arrogant or this, that, and the other. And there's things that I can say about other people. I don't like this person's talking points. This person comes across as an arsehole. Fine. But I think we can all agree. That this is some evil shit. This is different. And on top of that, if you remember, Technical said 2 Smash players. Regarding Justice has been permanently banned from South Carolina Smash due to inappropriate conversations and actions with a minor. If you are a tournament organizer looking for more information, please direct message me. Now, I don't have any more information on that individual outside of that. But 2 Smash players in 24 hours. You guys are never, ever beating those allegations. And like I said, again, if you are offended by this, if you're offended by any work that maybe Technicals has done or other individuals, you are also part of the problem. You should be able to look at your scene and be like, what in God's name is happening here? Now, I have a theory on what it is. I don't think that these people go into the Smash scene and the Smash scene magically turns them into predators. I think that it's a lot more insidious than that. If you look at Smash has characters like Pikachu and Solid Snake. Ryu and Pikmin. There are characters from generations that like are as old as me, right? In their 30s or 40 years old. Then there's characters that are for kids. And these scenes both come together into an environment where they share a space. In tournament environments, a lot of them we've seen multiple times not being supervised. They're sharing a space. And I think that these diddlers know that. And they go to these tournaments knowing that this is a kids tournament as well as it being people that are going to be of age. And they flagrantly abuse their power because that's what you can do with children. It's honestly just like, it's absolutely fucking disgusting. At this point, I would say, some of you might not like this, but maybe Smash should just be an online only community. Meeting up in person doesn't seem to be it, because this just keeps on happening. It happens over and over again, and this is coming from somebody that used to enjoy Smash a lot with their friends. I've even been to some UK tournaments. The biggest problem that I had with Smash when I was growing up is the scene stunk, right? My biggest problem with them is that they didn't own deodorant. That seems like such a good problem to have right now than the one that is going on in the Smash scene these days. It's absolutely foul. It is foul. Now, on the document here, a lot of it to me just sounds like nonsense. Maybe that's just me and my personality, but if I heard these things in the moment, you are done. You're finished. That's it. That is a step too far. And I've said 100 times here, I'm not perfect. If my friend walked in and he said, Mike, I just beat someone up, I'd be like, all right, cool, bro, sit down, let's talk about it. Blah, blah, blah. But there's loads of scenarios where I'd be willing to sit down and be like, okay, that's a bad thing that you did, but let's talk about it. You walk in and say to me, oh, I was on a dating website and I bonked a 12-year-old. I'm going to look at him and be like, what do you want me to say to that exactly? Like, are you genuinely stupid? And the answer is no, you're evil. Evil people do that. Evil people put their hands on children. I'm still wrestling with the idea that he got in from a shift and couldn't see that there was a child sitting in the front. I'm still wrestling that. And then to get out of the car, all three of you get out of the car to go into the apartment. So you're all moving together. And there's this 12-year-old there. And you can't see that they're underage. I'm so confused. I'm sorry, I do not believe that. And then on top of that, all the other things that this sole person is saying about rectangles, cat abuse, people turn up to the house screaming grape. How long were you living with this person? How many things did you see? I'm sorry, people. I understand looking out for your friends. Like, I had a run-in with a couple YouTubers, and I even said to a couple of people, I get why they want to protect their own, you know. There might be disagreements and whatnot, but on this kind of thing, it's a flat no. That is foul and disgusting. And for God's sake, stop using Discord as a dating server. There are already dating apps, okay, where you can get actual age verification. Now, I don't know why the Kenosha police and why they won't really take it up. Beyond that, again, I don't understand. I thought once someone admitted to something like that, you don't really need to get people involved, but whatever. Like, it's just sort your scene out, man. This is honestly disgusting. And before anyone's like, oh, it's got nothing to do with blah, 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 I think we should all be able to agree that touching children is something that we should call out. It's something that should be highlighted, and it's something that should be pushed out the scene entirely. Now, from my understanding, the fighting game community doesn't really associate with Smash like that anyway. They were moved out of Evo because people got bored of watching Jigglypuff 24/7. So they're not really involved with the FGC. But there is a lot of crossover with the Guilty Gear scene, which has seen a fair share of its problems as well. A simple fix to this, guys, is play the game, go home, and mind your own business, okay? I would not recommend going to these after parties, getting too buddy-buddy with people, because clearly it's not working. Honestly, like, 2 in 1 day. Jesus Christ.